the will to kill in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu is something you're going to need to have if you want to succeed at the highest levels of competition. Let's talk about that. First, what do I mean by the will to kill? When we practice the sport of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, we all know that you tap if someone catches you in a submission. We do that so we can continue to train and so we don't get injured, but metaphorically, we die to death. If we were to play this out to its ultimate conclusion, if someone got you in a submission hold and applied, let's even just say an armbar, for example, to its conclusion, and your arm was completely broken in half. From there, if this were, let's say, a cage where only one person gets out alive, the person who applied the submission would most likely go on to apply a chokehold or whatever is necessary to get out of that cage alive. Now, thankfully, this is not how we practice Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Thankfully, we're on nice clean mats and we get to tap, but every single time you tap out, especially to a choke, you die a metaphorical death. So, in order to succeed in showing up to class, you have to have the will to die, metaphorically speaking, in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. But if you want to succeed in high-level competitions, you have to have the will to take submissions to their conclusion. What do I mean by this? Well, we're not going to do the second step, but we are going to do the first step. We are going to try to apply a submission to its conclusion. And in a high-level competition, what should happen is the person being caught should recognize a couple moves in advance that they're about to be caught, and they should verbally and or physically submit, so that way the other person can let go and the ref will raise their hand and both people walk away uninjured. However, if you're used to, in the training room, going out and getting a submission, let's say, for this is something I see very commonly, a rear naked choke. You sink the rear naked choke and you squeeze, and then you let them go because they already tap. And this happens a lot at white belts because it just starts to hurt a little bit on your neck. I'm going to be honest with you, once you start getting deep into blue belt, that little bit of hurting on your neck don't matter so much. It don't hurt so much. What matters is whether or not you're awake. And if you're not willing or able to put someone to sleep with your choke, then you might as well throw it out in high-level competition, in my opinion. Every single time I apply a strangulation hold in a competition, if I do not believe that the person will fall asleep if they don't tap, I need to switch to another move or position. Because the fact of the matter is, I don't trust my opponents to tap. This is one of the reasons why in competition, I do not favor joint lock submissions. Because the person speaking to you now and the person immediately after the match hates breaking limbs. It's gross to me. I feel bad. I don't like that the other person didn't tap. I don't like that they're going to be injured. And I don't like that they're not going to be able to train and have all the fun benefits that jiu-jitsu has. But when the ref says go, when the gold medal's on the line, and my adrenaline's pumping, I'm going to apply that submission, regardless of what the consequences are, because otherwise, the person's going to do the same to me, right? If I don't do that, I'm not respecting my opponent. Otherwise, they're straight up not going to tap. There have been plenty of times where I applied a submission in a competition, and it wasn't good enough to break or, make the person fall asleep, and they either ate the damage or didn't tap. It was just an ugly situation. So you need the will to finish submissions. And if you're going to do something like a leg lock or a joint lock as your primary mode of submitting your opponent, especially leg locks, you have to be prepared to break people's legs. At the very least, you're going to tear some tendons apart. But if you are going to go in high-level competition, I've seen it time and time again, people fighting over a 50-cent gold medal or even a bronze medal or even no medal, eating leg locks to the point where their legs break. I wouldn't recommend that.